Okay. So in the last session, we looked at the different workflow of Terraform, like init, validate, plan, apply, and destroy. Now,
Excuse me, sir. I have a doubt.
sorry.
I have a doubt, sir.
Yeah, sure.
Like after destroying, again, if you want to recover that file, means is that possible?
Yes, yes. See, you're not destroying the files, you're destroying only the resources. See,
Okay.
the information that is created in AWS cloud, you're destroying. That means you're removing all the resources which are created through Terraform, you're destroying it.
Okay.
You're getting it right?
Yes, sir.
Not removing the code that you have written.
Uh, so after removing the code, it won't affect the application, sir, which we have developed.
Basically, when you don't require any infrastructure, you will destroy it. Say, for example, you created one environment called dev, test, or staging, and later you feel like the particular application is released, and you are on probably vacation. The company is probably having a yearly year-end vacation. At that particular time, you don't require the setup to be running. Or you created an infrastructure which is not required anymore for random purpose or probably testing a particular feature. You created a infrastructure that you want to delete it. You can just simply run a Terraform destroy to remove the complete resources that you created.
Yes, sir. Got it.
Okay. So we'll be looking at what is a provider block, how we can use. Here, provider block is all about in which cloud we are going to provision. That is what is called provider block. Here, the provider is always fixed. Here, the second one, second column or second item is variable. Variable means it varies based on the cloud. If it is Azure cloud, it is called Azure. It is if it is a Google cloud, it is called the GCP. So the provider name will vary, and then your inputs will vary based on your cloud. Here we are talking about region, which is mostly we will be working on US East one. We'll have the access key and secret key to authenticate to the cloud. Next, we are looking at the resource block, how the resources will be created, whether you're creating a resource AWS VPC or AWS underscore instance or AWS underscore S3. And then the third item or third column should be a variable that that is up to you what kind of variable that you want to give. You can say my VPC, you can say Ajit underscore VPC, my VPC, anything you can do it, but that is for your reference. Any questions on this?
No, sir.
So parallelly, I'll show you how the code is written. And here, I'll go with Ubuntu.tf. So if you look at the code, right, it is very similar to exactly what requirements you have while creating the instance from AWS console. What is the first thing you will automatically select? The AMI, whether it is a Amazon Linux or Ubuntu Linux, right? If it is Ubuntu Linux, you will make sure that particular uh, section is selected. By default, you will have an Amazon Linux instance selected. If you want to go with Ubuntu, you will select Ubuntu, and then you will have an instance type selection. Only the user data is extra here that we are calling it to install some of the packages related to Docker and running some installing some packages and running a particular application. So the next one is the root block size, that is root block device, which is nothing but your EBS volume, which is getting attached to your EC2 instance. Key name, you are already aware that the private key of the remote private key to log into the remote machine, that you should attach it to the instance so that it will copy the public key of the key pair to the instance that is getting created. Then you have a subnet ID, which is coming from the default VPC in this, that we are getting using the data block. Next, we have a security groups, which is nothing but a firewall rule, which says what is the incoming connection allowed, what are the different information that we need to provide, like your protocol, IP address, and port number combination. So all of these things are must parameter to create the EC2 instance. Last one, you have the output. Once instance is created, it displays the instance IP address. How do you get the IP address? Is like you call the particular instance and then your instance ID, sorry, instance name dot public IP. If you see here, resource is AWS instance dot my Ubuntu EC2, that is your instance name, dot public IP, which is coming from the cloud, which you're calling the particular object and getting the public IP. Instead of public IP, if you put dot ID, it'll give you the instance ID. If you, instead of public IP, if you put a private IP, it will give you the private IP. For this, one condition is your instance should have been created. Then only you will be able to talk to the AWS cloud and get this information. Moving on to the slide. So you have provider block, resource block, variable block, data block, and output block. Data block is used to define or get the resources from the existing get the information from the existing resources, say like VPC, subnet, or any other security group information that you want to fetch from the cloud, AWS cloud, you can use data block. Output block is used for printing the information about the resources that are created from your code, from your Terraform code. Variable is something similar to defining a variable in Python, like a equal 10, name equal to Badami, like that. Whether it is string or list or tuple, you can have this definition. Every block starts with a fixed keyword that, like I told you, it could be a provider, it could be a resource, it could be a data, it could be a variable, or it could be output. So that is fixed keyword. The second keyword, second column, is always again fixed, but it is depending on the cloud that you are providing, you are using as a provider. Third one is always varying, that is up to you, whatever variable that you want to declare. Any questions on this?
No, sir.
Okay, this information, this code is actually stored directly on this one, all docs DevOps, under the October folder. Like 7th October, you have the introduction to uh, DevOps and your prerequisites, all the basic PPTs. And then 9th October, mostly your Git. Somewhere I have uploaded Terraform, but if it is not there, I'll upload the Terraform. Yeah, see here, Terraform is uploaded here. Terraform PPT that I'm currently giving presentation, right? That is uploaded in the 12th October. You can have a look at that. You can download it to your local machine and then start looking into the slides. You can have an understanding. DevOps intro.ppt, that is your demo class or your day one class, where I explained all the DevOps related stuff like DevOps tool chain, different tools used within DevOps, what is the DevOps principle, and things like that. SDLC, everything. Okay, going on to the next one. how we create actually the resources or the code blocks. See, if the data code block we are writing, we are saying select, or selected means it is again our keyword, my VPC, like that you can say. Based on the tag, that information, the like my VPC, we are getting the VPC ID from the cloud, from AWS cloud. So user data is used to write a script and put that script as an input, so that when the instance is created, it will automatically create all the resources for you, or it will automatically configure the system for you as per your script. That is what is the purpose of using user data. So that you can write it as a shell script and put it in the particular put the particular path and put using the file keyword. So I'll show you quickly how it looks like. So in the data folder, I have a amazon.mcube.sh. So here we are simply doing some commands like yum update, service docker start, install docker, and installing the Kubernetes packages, installing the curl, wget, git, and telnet. So all of these packages are uh, very basic packages which are required to run your Docker, to do telnet, to do a wget, to do a curl. To curl is a command line browser. Wget is to download packages, download some files from the internet. Telnet to verify whether the particular port is open for the particular server. Git, you already know, that is for the source code management, doing Git operations. Here variable block is written to just define your variables. It could be AMI ID, it could be your instance type, it could be your the count, how many count of EC2 instances that you are going to create, like that. In the output block, usually that you get it from the resources that you have created, AWS underscore instance dot server dot private IP. How do you call the object? You call the object based on the object name. Where means variable. AWS underscore instance means that resource that you created. Here again, AWS VPC means the VPC that you created. Dot main underscore VPC dot ID, that gives you the ID of the particular VPC. Okay. Any questions so far with respect to the introduction to the Terraform code blocks? Anything from Badami, Ajit?
No, sir.
Okay. So here we have GitLab in place. How do we do a CI/CD? The same stuff that we do it manually. What do we actually do uh, when I want to create the resources? You have any idea? We are running the deploy.sh, right? Tell me you have understood. Sorry, Badami, tell me. We are basically running the Terraform workflow, or I can say the pipeline, manual pipeline. Terraform init, Terraform validate, Terraform plan, and Terraform apply. So all of these commands we are running it manually in the script so that we achieve all these things in a sequence manner. The same thing, if you put it in the pipeline, it will be executed. So here I have it in the other folder. The way to write the YAML file or the pipeline file is to create the variables first and then define the stages, similar to what we have done in the shell script. Validate, plan, apply, and destroy. Then start using the Docker container to install Terraform and configure Terraform to run from a particular location. And then we just use in the before script, we do a Terraform init, and then we do a Terraform validate, and then the next job is Terraform plan. You can see that the script that we are running is Terraform plan, and then we do a Terraform apply. The only extra thing that we have here is copying the bucket, copying the key file from the bucket, because we don't have any local storage. We are using only the S3 storage for storing our private key. And then finally we have a destroy stage. So the only one thing you can see is we say that it is executed only when we manually execute it. That's why we say when manual. That keyword is not present in any of the other stages because we want to run everything automatic way. Only the destroy manual way, because you don't want to destroy it immediately after the creation. You want to remove it only when it is not required, when the resources are not required. So we'll see this from Monday, how to create a GitLab CI YAML file and how do we run the pipeline. Any questions on this?
No, sir.
Sure. Okay. With this, we'll probably stop today's session.